Good evening, Democrats. My name is John Barrow. I have the privilege of representing Georgia's 12th Congressional District of the U.S. House of Representatives, a district which now includes 90% of the people in Columbia County. I bring greetings from the 112th Congress under this Constitution, where they ain't good for much of anything except trying to think up deviltry for our president, trying to stop us from making any progress in this country. But more to the point, I bring greetings from our fellow Georgians from as far away as Tattnall County, Toombs County, Ackling County, Jeff Davis County, Wheeler County, Coffee County, and all points in between. Those are your fellow neighbors in Georgia's 12th Congressional District. And I don't want to bring a word of greeting to you. I want to bring a word of welcome to you. Welcome to the 12th District. Let me tell you why I think that's important. With the help of Lowell and our friends just down the road here in Richmond County, when I was first elected back in 2004, I became the first Democrat to represent this area of the country in over a decade, and the first Democrat to defeat an incumbent Republican in the Deep South in over a quarter of a century. When that happened, our good friends and Democrat neighbors in Columbia County couldn't have a hand in that, because y'all were drawn on the other side of a line that split the votes, the Democrats in Columbia County and Richmond County. In fact, y'all, while I was the first to represent this area of the country as a Democrat in a decade, it's been 18 years since Columbia County helped to elect a Democrat. 20 years since it was 1992. His name was Don Johnson. Y'all remember him? A guy named Charlie Norwood beat him. And those are the days when Columbia County and Richmond County were in the same district. Well, we're back in the same district once again. And I want to welcome y'all to the fight. It's not for lack of effort that Columbia County Democrats haven't been able to elect a Democratic congressman. The fault, dear Caesar, does not lie in our stars, it lies in ourselves. But it wasn't ourselves, it wasn't our candidates, it wasn't your fault. You were drawn into a district where you didn't have a fighting chance. Let me tell you something. We got more than a fighting chance, but we are going to have to fight for it. Because this district has been made so hard for a Democrat to win, unless we all come together, we're not going to be able to hold on to this seat. Now, I don't need to tell you, I don't need to tell any of y'all that the number one impediment to making any progress in this country is the crowd that is running the U.S. House of Representatives right now. Our party cannot make any progress, and our nation cannot make any progress whatsoever unless and until we can get the House of Representatives back.
Yes, sir.
The first assignment, hold on to what we got. Offense makes great games. Defense makes great championships. We got to defend the seat we've got. And y'all are in the hottest action in the state and one of the 5 top House elections in the country. If you don't believe me, just wait till you turn on your TV come Labor Day. It's the hot lid's really going to be flying. Y'all are in it now. And it's up to your necks. I need your help. I ask for your support. And with your help, we'll hold on to this seat and we'll move our country forward in the direction it needs to go in, but only thanks to us all pulling together. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless the Democratic Party.
To Wilkinson County for an evening event, and by the way, there is no highway that connects those two places. I was in Thompson this morning in McDuffie County. I was in Liberty last Saturday. I've been to Little Whiskey, Georgia, and learned how to say it. I have been to Raven County. I've been to Forsyth County. I'm going to every county in the state of Georgia because I know that this is a blue state. We just have to make it safe for people to know that they're Democrats. And I am so incredibly impressed by the presence in this room because you guys already got the message, so thank you. Now, I knew I liked Chairman Everett before, but I didn't know why I liked him. But it turns out he's from just north of where I grew up. I'm from Gulfport, Mississippi. And so, you know, we both left Georgia, we left Mississippi to come to a slightly more progressive state. I'm thinking about a little bit confused, but we're working on it. But the important thing is that we all know that Georgia is a blue state. It's just a blue state that hasn't quite found its way yet. And I've been thinking recently about this phrase, and Gloria's going to smile because she both likes it and fears it when I use certain words and phrases. But I've been thinking about false equivalency. False equivalency it's a logical, when you study logic philosophy, it's this phrase that they use to describe a turn of artistry that debaters use, where we try to convince you to believe what we believe by telling you something that isn't quite real. So, a lie, yes. We like to call it logical. But with false equivalency, it's like saying, we're the same. I steal a pencil and you steal my car, but we're both the same. And what I've discovered in my time, both as a legislator for 4 years, for 6 years, and as leader for 2 years, is that Republicans are the masters of false equivalency. You hear them talk about people going to the far right and the hard left. We aren't going that far to the left. But they have gone so far to the right, they're about to circle back around to where we are. And the reason they're going to do that is because they believe in false equivalency. I mean, think about it. Think about Mitt Romney, who wrote an op-ed saying, "Let Detroit go bankrupt," who took credit for it a year later. Right. I mean, when I said let him go bankrupt, I meant do exactly what Obama did, but my way. They use false equivalency to justify just about everything they do. Because they say that, in order to fix the deficit, we both have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice by putting children out of school, cutting food stamps for the poor, and kicking old folks out of their homes and making certain they can't take care of themselves. And it's exactly the same as Democrats saying cut oil subsidies for the really wealthy and maybe increase their taxes a little bit to get it back to where it used to be. They say those are exactly the same thing. Or in the state of Georgia, the Republicans say that a war on women, where we criminalize going to an OBGYN for high-risk pregnancy because we missed the cutoff date of 20 days, 20 weeks, much like a carton of milk, that we now have the right, or we no longer have the right to ask our doctors to take care of us. That's the exact same as saying that women have a right to control their bodies. They say that a war on the poor is necessary, that asking the poor to pay for their own drug tests, because you're poor, you must be a drug user. They say that we're going to take your benefits and make you pay for that. That's the same, that's equivalent to Democrats who say, let's help the poor with their taxes. In the state of Georgia, we say that we believe, as Democrats, we believe in workers' rights, and they think that's the same as saying that we should not allow them to have their First Amendment rights to assemble and to protest. These are the same things. It's false equivalency. And the most basic way of putting it is exactly what Gloria said. They lie. They lie about things being the same, they lie about what they're trying to do, and they lie about the consequences. But I'm not mad at them. I'm mad at us. Because we let them lie. We will let a Republican tell a lie 1,000 times until it sounds like the truth. We tell the truth one time, and when people don't believe us, we go sulk and sit in the corner and fold our arms and say, well, why didn't they believe me? And we don't understand why we don't get further ahead. Because we don't believe our own story. We don't believe our own history. We as Democrats have forgotten that for 150 years, we kept this state in a pretty good place. It's the reason that Democrats that made the state of Georgia the leader of the South. Republicans weren't in charge then. It's Democrats that created an educational system and a Hope Scholarship that is the envy of the world, not the Republicans. We created the Hope Scholarship. They destroyed it. We created a business climate that kept jobs coming and kept more Fortune 500 companies coming south of New York than any other state in the nation. And it's Republicans that have had the highest unemployment rate in the state for 50 months running. Republicans did that, not Democrats. But we have forgotten our story. Because we believe in the false equivalency. We believe that it's the same, that they're just like us, only they're red and we're blue. But they're not. There's a difference between being a Democrat and being a Republican. Now, I'm friends with Republicans, and Gloria will tell you I work well with them at the Capitol. I believe that I think they want what's best for Georgia. They're just very, very wrong. They believe believe that to support schools, you have to strip them of their funding, lie about their teachers, and say to the children that if you don't go to a charter school, you don't deserve to learn. Democrats believe that you support schools by supporting the children, the teachers, and the parents. They say that the way to create jobs is to take all the money out of our educational system and give it in tax cuts and tax subsidies to people who don't bring jobs, and just in case we know the truth, we don't bother to count how many jobs they don't bring. Democrats say, fine, you can have the money, but prove that you did the work. Republicans say that they believe that we should hurt the unemployed, that unemployment should, that's a federal issue, that's not our fault, but just in case, we're going to cut your benefits because we don't want you to be unemployed so long that you actually have to use your benefits. So what we did this year was that we gave, and Democrats actually, we kind of screwed this one up ourselves, but then they expanded the problem. We decided to give a tax break to businesses and said, don't pay into the unemployment trust fund, because we're never going to have unemployment again in Georgia. But apparently it happened. But for 20 years, we created a $700 million hole in our budget, in our trust fund, and we've had to use it up. And now we owe the federal government their money. And so instead of solving the problem by saying that the same people who got the benefit, those businesses that didn't pay their taxes, what Republicans said is, well, it's the exact same if we have the unemployed pay it back. So instead of telling the businesses that took the money and have run with it to pay the money back, what we did this year was cut benefits we cut you from 26 weeks to 20 weeks, and the state has one of the highest unemployment rates in the nation. Because we make a false equivalent argument that being unemployed is the same as being the head of a Fortune 500 company. I don't know about you, but I don't make that much.
Their site of record. That may mean where they lived last in the U.S., or in a number of cases where we got people in Mexico registered where they were born, because they were born in a hospital in the U.S. There are over 900,000 registered voters from L.A. County Hospital. On voting absentee, you do not have to be out of the country. You do not have to be out of your home to vote absentee. All you have to do is request an absentee ballot. How about our parents, our friends that can't get out of their house? They've got the right to vote. All we need to do is get them registered and then have them request an absentee ballot. From Mexico, when we went down there and we were involved, must be 14, 12 years now, we had about 300 registered Democrats. When we left a year and a half ago, there were over 50,000 registered Democrats. The people are overseas and they are voting. However, from overseas, the only thing we can vote for is national elections. We don't get involved in the locals. But the people living here, yes, they can be involved in locals. So, get a hold of your parents, get a hold of those people who are homebound, and get them registered. Again, just because they're restricted to the house doesn't mean they cannot vote. All of us Democrats need to get out and do it.
AnibalShow.com